Yeah, John couldn't make it today. He said he couldn't make it. He sent it in the group chat. So I said, well, we gotta have a show. We gotta have a show. That's just
show
what
gotta
it
go
is.
on.
The show gotta go on. We may as well keep it rolling. We got other people, that we ready to do the show, and the topic was already out. So we say, okay, we have a show. Hopefully we can catch you next week and pick up from there. But speaking of the show, welcome to the Uncommon Sense Show. I'm your host, Kennard the DJ, and tonight we got a very interesting topic. This is a good one. This is a very good one. Today's topic is.
Come on.
Oh, today's topic is why aren't people? Huh?
No. Go ahead. I'm talking to my kids. I'm sorry.
Why aren't the people going back to work? Now, this one here, it's like a multi-part answer, if you ask me. It's so many different factors. I mean, that's really a topic I think that we all can go on for days with this one. Alicia, why you think the people ain't coming back to work?
Just a number of reasons. I think one of the main reasons is that people are scared of COVID. I think that a lot of people don't want to be forced to take the vaccine. Like, whether you're going to get it or not, you don't want to be told that you have to inject something in your body. And I think that because COVID went on for so long, people kind of figured out they ain't got to work for nobody to get what they need to get done. People have become self-reliant. And so you see a lot of businesses popping up during COVID. A lot of people started homeschooling their children. So people have started functioning outside of what their norm was, and they don't want to go back to that because we've all been in the work field. Right. We've had, people, they don't care about the children being sick. They don't care about you being sick, you underpaid, disrespected, all of that. So when you get a whole year where you don't have to be bothered with that shit, and you can, you figured out how to make your ends meet and kind of live without them, people don't want to go back to it.
Exactly.
Go ahead,
I was agreeing with Alicia, but also a lot of people weren't going back to work for a while because they were actually making more money at home with the unemployment benefits.
That's true too.
Yeah.
There's people making $300 a week, but they bringing home double that with unemployment. So, it's like, why should I go risk my life when I can sit here, and basically actually survive? It's not such a struggle.
I agree with that too. They got I agree with that. They got comfortable with the unemployment, and also a lot of people got comfortable with just being at home. I mean, you think about it, especially like our generation, most of us been working since probably either right out of high school or even before we ended high school. So to get that break where you could just, semi-relax a little bit, people did and still do finances. And then like Alicia said, a lot of people started their own business. And they actually been doing good. I mean, it's been what came out of the COVID to me, and it's the entrepreneurship. I kind of like the idea.
Yeah.
I say this, going back to what Alicia said, as far as people getting their own businesses, it's kind of, at least I'm not an entrepreneur, but I know a little bit about a little bit. Now, the downside of starting your own business economically is that a lot of other pre-existing businesses will shut down. You see what I'm saying? That could be, I think that kind of ties in with that. But then the other side is if you got your own business, then now, everything that you would have got from a job, you ain't going to get there. Good example, benefits. You got to buy your own benefits now. See what I'm saying? So that's just part of the game. So, I think, I don't know. I think personally, I would.
As an entrepreneur, what I pay for my benefits myself is actually less than what I pay. I was paying $600 a month in benefits for medical. I pay now $400. So it again, I think that what this bred is a lot of independent thinking. We all think about pensions and retirement and benefits, but when you look at what you can actually do yourself, you can do all that stuff yourself and be like, I've been a nurse for 20 years. I quit my job July the 1st. I have a trucking company and a freight brokering company. That's what I do. Now, the money is not always like, definitely you work hard, but if I'm gonna work, I've worked hard for 20 years. I've worked hard and had sleepless nights, missed a lot of stuff out for my children because I had to take care of them.
Right.
I'm at a point now where I can sit at home and I'm still making money. I work hard, but I'm working hard for me. Anything that happens, like economically, I make the decision on how much I want to make, where I want to make it, and what I want to do. And I don't have to do the politics of the office. So basically, I'm doing what I want to do in the manner that I want to do it. And also generating, I'm a firm believer in generational wealth and building that generational wealth. And, you know, even like my children now, I have 2 kids that are in college. They're getting ready to take truck driving school just so they can drive trucks so that they can invest in. My daughter wants to own Airbnbs and my son wants to do marijuana dispensary stuff. Okay. It's a way to get money. And, you know, I'm all for education, just for the sake of being educated, not for any other reason, not to work at nobody's job or anything, but you want to cultivate that entrepreneurial spirit, especially in that generation, because it's necessary. It's important. It's important to know that you can actually, because if you think about prior to, like, maybe even prior to our parents, our grandparents' generation, they all owned stores. They had no need for, like, they did work jobs, but you saw a lot of them that owned their own businesses because it was almost necessary for them to do it because they could not find work, and they did very well. And we've kind of shied away from that. So I think with COVID, we've gotten back to where we understand we can build and we can all scrape and scratch. But if I'm gonna scrape and scratch, I'd rather scrape and scratch for something that I believe in, that's mine, as opposed to letting somebody else benefit millions from what I'm doing, and I just get what they want me to have when they want me to have it. And then I have to ask you, I'm 47 years old. I'm not asking nobody, can I take a vacation?
I know that's
I have a problem, you know what I'm saying? I have a problem with all of that.
Mm-hmm. Right. And I think I think it was I think it became a great idea too, because it taught our kids, the generation now, it's taught them the level of independence, because when it came down to the point to where, because like I say, we as parents, we was that generation we want to give our kids more than what we had. So right. we developed spoiled children, and all they, you know what I'm saying, they wasn't used to hard work. And so now that with the COVID came along, it kind of gave our kids a sense of independence that we as parents really couldn't give them, because even though we taught them everything, and you know what I'm saying, we told them you got to work, but we was around here just really giving away money. We giving kids money for getting A's, giving kids money for doing their chores. So I mean, it was like, now that they out here now, they making their own money, they doing their own thing, and then they working harder. So I think it's like became a really good it became something. If the beneficial behind this was good, and then it's teaching them to work for themselves, because like Alicia said, we worked all these years for making somebody else money and accepting what they was giving us.
But let me ask y'all this. Let me ask you this, Tamika. Do you think it's more people that are entrepreneurs today, or do you think it's more people that are dependent on the government to get by?
I actually think it's half and half. I actually think
read my mind. You read my mind on that one.
Yeah, I believe it's half and half. Now, you always gonna have those ones that's gonna want to not do nothing. Mm-hmm. They gonna always want a handout, always want something for free. You know what I'm saying? But I do have to give credit to the ones that is, because I mean, it's a lot of young people, you know what I'm saying, my kids, and even my kids, they are looking for ways to create their own money and work for themselves, which is good, because with their attitudes, they couldn't work in the corporate office anyway.
Right. But I also think it's the generation that we came up in. I mean, think about what our parents told us. Our parents told us, you go to school, you get a job, you go to work.
True.
Right.
They didn't breed into us, you can go and make your own way, you can make your own business, you can stand alone. They taught us how to basically assimilate into capitalism, where mm-hmm. we're not producers, we're consumers. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it's like, you know, this almost is like it's an awakening.
Yep.
And I honestly think, and I this might not tie in with y'all, but have y'all heard about how all these freights is sitting in these docks?
Yeah. Yes.
I think they doing that now. The big companies got their own stuff. They know how to go get their own stuff and everything. But it's like it's hurting smaller, more independent companies because if they shipping, they can't get their stuff. So I think they saw that, yeah, people out here making their own businesses and stuff, and it's taken away from the big, the big corporations.
Right.
So let us slow them down a little bit. Let's hold this shit up. We're gonna blame it on COVID.
Yeah, but see, because like I said, that's who during the course of the pandemic, that's who it seems like is really getting hit the hardest is the small businesses. Because you got, like I said, I remember like when the shit first popped off, like early spring, and only places you can go to was like grocery stores and Walmart. So Walmart stayed open, was making a killing, while all these other little places was shut down because of COVID. And then now they come back, and then now they got all these regs. Like, or during the time they had all these regulations, like, okay, well, you can only have, 25% capacity. And then it went up to 50, and then it went up to this and that. Then, oh, here comes the Delta variant or whatever. And then now it goes right back down again. So those people, what I think it is, and it's just a theory of mine, and then I'm gonna pass it after this. What I think what's been happening was, this whole shit has been meant to be sustained as far as COVID. And what they're doing is like you're almost forcing people to get into certain companies. Like you see advertisements everywhere, like Amazon and all these other places, and they got these big, huge facilities. Now, you got these people here, like in the retail industry, the restaurant industry, they shit got closed down. Okay, well, what I'm supposed to do now? Everybody ain't thinking entrepreneur. Most of these people just out of routine is thinking, okay, I'm gonna get up and go to work. Well, where I'm gonna work at? Okay, well, so-and-so is paying $20 an hour. Oh shit, let me go over here. See what I'm saying? So in turn, that's kind of like cutting off the small business owner altogether so they can go and work for the big corporation. At least that's just my theory on it. That's what I think. I could be wrong, but that's what I see.
It makes sense because the big corporations as well, like if you think about it though, all of fast star places was the places that really got cut. I mean, as far as like had to close up, you still had, like what I know in my neighborhood, our small businesses were still running. We were still able to go to our local grocery stores, our local mom and pop stores, but it was the big places that was closing down. So yeah, now America, of course, they got to make their money back. So I agree with you with that too. Yeah. Now, I think now the small businesses is being hit now because like Ev said, they cutting the shortage they finding ways to get to it, to cut the shortage on the shipping now.
The shipping and everything.
They're holding back the shipping now
Shipping
so
part
that
of
the big corporation can get some of their profit back. Or if not,
shipping is that they have Pete Buttigieg he's over transportation. So now he's implementing these policies. And right now they're having issues. They're going back and forth because now some of the bigger companies, transportation companies, they want to do hourly. So truck drivers don't get paid hourly. They get paid by like gas, whatever the gas price is and mileage. So that's how they get paid. So now these bigger companies are wanting to implement an hourly wage. Well, I wouldn't be able to compete with an hourly wage because I'm not a big corporation. As well as they want to bind these truck drivers to certain rules and regulations. So you have this going on, and you also have a shortage of truck drivers because you have a lot of older truck drivers that are now retired.
All right, yeah. And
there's nobody to fill those places. So you have a lot of freight that's just sitting in those, especially when you talk about ports, because ports are different. In order to get on the rail yard and into those ports, you can't be a felon, right?
Okay.
You have to have you have to register with UIA, and part of that you have to have certain insurances to get onto that rail yard. So you're talking about people that may not be able to get on the rail yard because of finances or because of a criminal background.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think about, if you all know any truck drivers, there's a lot of truck drivers, not most, but there's a lot of truck drivers who drive trucks because they have a criminal background. And truck driving is the only way that they could make really good money without having to do menial tasks. So you have that. I also think that this is there's a lot of variance going on here. Holistically, human contact, human interaction, that's therapeutic. COVID, it stopped that. It stopped that a lot. So when you think about eating is a social thing.
True.
So people are not, they're in the houses, they're by themselves. It was a lot of people in the house by themselves at that time. So you have people that are getting sick, people that have no connection. You're talking about elders who, you know, who don't have any interaction with people. Then you talk about like even getting out to these stores, the stores that were open, if you couldn't walk to them, then you were short.
Mm-hmm.
But if you knew how to use Amazon, if you knew how to use Instacart, all this stuff, all these things, COVID was implemented so that they could stop us from interacting with each other and to keep us in the house. A lot of people, I'm a big Office fan. I don't know if anybody knows about Office, but I love The Office. So The Office is a sitcom and it ran for like 8 or 9 series. It played on Netflix for free all through COVID. When people started, when more people started being at home, a lot of those shows that you could get on Netflix and just watch the series, they started pulling them off.
Makes
They
sense.
started pulling them, right, and they put them Peacock, NBC, they took all their shows and put them on Peacock. Peacock is not nearly, the streaming is horrible compared to Netflix, but they saw that people were in the house, people were watching TV because what else could you do? There was nothing else to do. You couldn't even go to the show. So Netflix, Hulu, IMBP, all those little apps. People were watching movies. HBO Max, Prime.
Right.
They're making a bunch of money.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's leaving the house, but money is still being spent, and
Yep.
it's safer because you can do everything that you need to do from the comfort of your house, and it's intentional.
But okay, I just want to add into what you said right there, everything from the comfort of your house. That's what we pointing towards, and see that right there by itself is cutting a lot of jobs. I mean, you can't go to a grocery store at this point in time. Certain grocery stores that you go to, they'll sit there and they'll point you over to a machine and have you bag your own shit. Back in the days, like I said, a good decade ago, you know, you go to a grocery store, you had a person-to-person interaction. There'd be a person standing there bagging your shit, or a person ringing you out. Now it's so much shit going on right now, and people don't know. And I kind of spoke about this because I got my own little thing that I'm doing on my YouTube shit, but I'm gonna kind of, you know, brush across it. Is that you got all these immigrants coming into the country, and they can see that, you know, McDonald's is paying $14 an hour, Amazon $20 an hour, all these other places paying all this money. Well, they finna come and get these fucking jobs. Now, when you mix that in with technology, and they got going to grocery store, they then took away a cashier's job and got a computer in place of it. When you mix all this shit together, and then when you mix in the fact that all the government and state benefits that they putting out to people during the pandemic with the free rent, the fucking Section 8 shit, the fucking subsidized, all these, the PPP loan, all this shit, eventually it's gonna fucking stop. And what's gonna happen is, while people getting comfortable with these well, they're not free because taxpayers are paying for it, but to them, free handouts, they're gonna look up and see there ain't no jobs. And what's gonna happen is, you got all these people from Mexico, from Haiti, from Afghanistan coming over here, and they're taking the fucking jobs, and you ain't gonna have nothing. But here's the other side. The other side is, well, because like what Tamika was saying, motherfuckers is spoiled. They used to getting and receiving, you know, all these benefits. So now you need toiletries. Your PPP done ran out. Your fucking, all this shit done ran out. You have nothing. Ain't no jobs no more for real now, because everybody else from overseas and came in and took them.
What I don't understand is why everybody complain about people doing the job that most people think that's below them anyway. Don't nobody want to go out there and pick them damn strawberries. Don't nobody want to go out there and pick them damn oranges and stuff. So yeah, they got some migrant workers and shit doing that shit. So I don't
And they're taking advantage of them.
About it.
They're
Right.
taking advantage of them.
Business-wise, everybody, I'm gonna cut you off, Tamika. Hold on one second. business wise, it makes sense because every company want to save $1. You know what I'm saying? Everybody looking for cheap labor. That's why a lot of jobs went overseas because they're looking for cheap labor.
People always talking about they coming to take our jobs, but that's not a job that you want to do
You're
because
right.
it's not paying enough. So why are you complaining about them taking some shit that you don't even want to do?
But what's the excuse now when they didn't double up the fucking
To
wage?
be honest, to be honest, I mean, it said that it took COVID for people to realize that, but a person that's been me, I've been in the warehouse business my whole life. I just got out the warehouse business. I did warehouse my whole life. I started doing warehouse straight out of high school. So I mean, they've been trying to replace us with robots anyway. I mean, it's been this been coming for the longest. That's not nothing that just appeared now. They've been trying to replace us for the longest, and everybody kept saying, well, they can't replace us, they can't replace the doctors, they can't replace the nurses and stuff like that. But the thing is, they've been trying to do this anyway. This is a plan that they've been implementing for the longest, trying to replace us with robots and stuff like that. But like Kanara was just saying, they what it is like more people are starting to see it now. What people are starting to see it, but a lot of people still not paying attention to it too. How they just throwing these things in here, because like you got to go into your grocery store. They're taking jobs. A bagger that paid the bills. Yep. You know what I'm saying? It helped out. Now you bagging your own stuff or you running your cash. Now I'm coming to you to spend my money, and I got to do the work. I got to do your job.
Yep.
And so that's how I look at it. The solution to those things is to stop doing that stuff.
I just seen an ad on YouTube. Has anybody seen the ad for Moxie? Please tell me y'all saw it.
For who?
For who?
Moxie. It's a robot they promoting basically to be a kid's friend.
Let me look it up right now. Oh, that's like a My Buddy. It's like a My Buddy.
And all that shit. I'm like, wait a minute. So little kids ain't gonna be able to interact with each other because they're gonna have these damn robots in their house. And the first thing came to my mind is iRobot. I'm like, oh shit.
Hey, that's real though. That's real, because you know what? Anything is possible. You know what I'm saying? Art imitates life. That shit is real. You can't really put nothing past the realm of possibility. Anything can fucking happen. Anything. You know what I'm saying?
It's happening with our permission though. I don't, when I go to the store and they point me to somewhere where they're telling me to bag my own stuff, I go to the cash, whatever register is open. I didn't come here to work.
I'm not. That's what I
make it a point.
I don't go to the self checkout. I go to a cashier.
And that's my point. I make it a point to go find somebody that's actually a human being that's working. I didn't come here to bag no groceries. I need to talk to somebody, so I make it a point to go do that. And I think a lot of our problem is that we have become so fucking lazy.
Yeah.
And so used to fucking technology that we just let shit, like you all said, we just let shit happen. So we see it and we recognize it for what it is, but it makes it easier for us at this time. We don't realize it. We don't acknowledge that this shit is fucked up because it's taking 4 or 5 jobs. You see people trying to scan their shit, but you got one person standing over there to work there. I don't need you to stand over here and watch me. I don't need you to come over here and bring shit.
Right, but
my thing is, come bring this shit up for me. Come put this in the bag. But you got 6 different aisles where people are ringing, and so you essentially have at least 6 places where you can actually have a human being with a job there. And we're trying to figure out where the fucking jobs are. We're the reason those jobs are there. One thing that I absolutely love about this generation, they don't respect that shit at all. That traditional shit, they have no respect for it. And I absolutely love them for it. They don't give a fuck. They gonna do what they want. And it needs to be guided. Thank you.
Exactly.
But the way that they feel, the way that they think, I absolutely encourage it. I respect it and I support it because they're not going to bow down to norms. What's normal, what we think is normal and acceptable, they don't give a shit about, and how they want to do shit is how they want. And they have no fear. They're absolutely fearless, and I love it.
But you know what?
On the more metaphysical or spiritual thing, these are the Indigo Children. These are the world changers. We coming into a new age. I don't know if y'all know anything about that, but we coming into the age of Aquarius. Mm-hmm. And it's a lot of energy and power shifts that's going on. And and I think, and that's what's going on with all these protests, the people waking up, and they starting to see that it's only a small percentage that control the whole entire world. So we need to do something about that. And they trying to. And I think they will eventually.
Nah, because but you know what? I agree with you.
But see,
you
you know what? And see, the thing is they too big. People think that this stuff is too big to fail. But Tupac said it. One day, the poor gonna be so hungry they ain't gonna have nothing to eat but the rich.
Oh, don't bring this nigga up in the shit.
Don't get cussed out.
I'm so sick of him.
I agree.
Don't get cussed out.
It's just they approach to me is wrong.
Can I get a word in?
Not if you gonna talk about Tupac, nigga. No.
I'm not feeling. But you know what? I'm not on some real shit.
Tupac out and just listen to what's being said. Listen to what he's saying.
Fuck it. Look, on the real side.
That's why you can't get it.
He talking about.
That's why you can't.
No. On some music shit. I'm not trying to hear shit Pac saying when X-Clan was there. Wait, hold on.
He stole this shit. You know what I'm saying?
When especially you, Eb, you know about BDP. You know about X-Clan. You talking about Pac?
Yeah, I do.
BDP and X-Clan and all. So you can't love Pac too?
Hell no.
But the thing is,
Yes, see, y'all want
trying to be a celebrity. You know what I'm saying?
Look, when you talk about brothers out, and I don't want to go too far in this because we talking about the economy and all this. But when you're talking about with X-Clan and BDP and Latifah and Jungle Brothers and all these guys that was really real about this shit, Pac was on some other shit. I'm like, he's cool, but
Pac was telling the same story in a different way. Everybody wasn't living like bullshit. Everybody wasn't living like X-Clan. Ask him about it. Everybody wasn't living like that. Exactly, but he was telling a story that hit somebody
from one point of view. It don't make what one person say wrong and what one person say right. They were saying
the same thing in a different way. They were saying the same thing in a different way.
You can.
Dr. Martin Luther King. They were saying the same thing. They were just saying it.
No, they were not.
No, they
were not.
No, they weren't.
Malcolm was about Pan-Africanism. Martin Luther King was about assimilating into America.
Well, that's not true.
Totally different thing.
That's not true. At the end, towards the end, when Malcolm was assassinated,
right.
Towards the end, when he got assassinated, he was not talking about assimilation.
Right, I agree.
Absolutely
not. No. I was talking about Martin.
No, but Martin was not. Right before Martin got killed, Martin made a statement that said he felt like he was leading his people into a burning building, and he no longer agreed with integration. So he was not into assimilation towards the end, which is part of the reason that he got assassinated.
I agree.
They were saying the same thing. They were just on two different spectrums of what was saying and how to get about it, but they wanted the same. They wanted the same thing.
They wanted the same thing. That's. Thank you, Alicia. That's the point I was making. They wanted the same thing. They just were saying it different.
So you saying y'all saying
they both wanted to be a part of America.
Malcolm didn't.
Malcolm did not. First of all, Malcolm nor Martin wanted to be a part of America. That wasn't the point. What they wanted was equality, justice, and to be able to create their own. Even when you talk about Malcolm and Martin, what they do is they talk about those feel-good speeches that everybody shows the snippets. If you read anything about Malcolm or Martin, they both towards the end of their life, Malcolm was definitely Pan-Africanism, but Malcolm also he was actually going with the UN to charge the United States
against humanity. That's
right. Because of what they did for slavery. Malcolm was meeting with Cuba. He was meeting with Africans. He was meeting with all of them. Right. And what they were getting ready to do was shut down the American currency because Africa has all of the currency. They have natural resources to back that currency, which is why they stopped all that shit. So when we talk about Malcolm and Martin, we can talk about them from the speeches that they want us to see. But when you talk about their life and what they believed and where they were towards the end of their life, they were at the same place.
Unity for everybody. They wanted it to be equal all the way across the board. That's the point I was making. They both wanted it to be equal. They just did it in a different matter.
So basically, y'all.
Matter.
So y'all say basically, KRS-One and Tupac is on the same end. I mean, on two different ends of the same.
They were saying the
thing?
same thing. They were saying the same thing, different way.
Oh no!
Same thing, different way.
Oh no!
Okay, let's
You
take
ever
away
heard?
the West Coast Tupac, okay? Let's get rid of the West Coast Tupac. Let's talk about not so much as him rapping, but him talking as a revolutionary. Listen to the shit he was saying then, okay?
What
I'm not talking
revolutionary
about
songs did
Tupac
Pac have? I'm just
Brenda's
curious.
got a baby.
That's
White
revolutionary.
man's world is a goddamn it still applies today. Kennard, I'm about to come to Chicago and we're about to go.
No, I'm just listening.
You cannot talk about Pac like that.
I'm just being real. I'm a BDP fan. So
I like BDP.
So how you gonna say real shit? How you gonna say that
I'm sorry,
Tupac is talking about killing niggas?
Because I can understand that people. Because I understand that people live. Even though we're black, we all. Well, I ain't gonna say we all the same color, but we're all descendants of whoever we're descendants of.
Okay. Yeah.
My experience is not your experience. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And Ev's experience ain't mine. Tamika's ain't mine. We might be all four in here and we understand who we are, but we all might have four different experiences. And so how we convey that, how we say it to people, maybe four different ways, and we can all want the same thing. We have a conversation, a different conversation.
Okay.
I might be, well, y'all from the West Side. You know, West Side, I'm from South, East Side, South Side, whatever.
I'm from the North Side.
You from North Side, so bougie. You know, so
right?
the conversations, you know, right. The North Side Black conversation is gonna be different from a West Side conversation, which is gonna be different from a South Side, which is gonna be different from an East Side. I went to an all-girls Catholic high school. I've been in Catholic school all my life. My conversation is gonna be totally fucking different from somebody who went to public school all their life, because I don't know what that look like.
I get
You know what I'm saying? So we can want the same thing. We just gonna say it differently.
We just gonna say it
different. Our experiences are different. So what I'm gonna say ain't gonna be what you're gonna say, but we can want the same thing. We're speaking to our peers. And my peers are from the East Side. Your peers are from the North Side. So what you're gonna convey is gonna be conveyed for people to the North Side. It's the same thing, and it's all to bring everybody together. But you have to learn how to sing different notes to get everybody to sing one tune.
Hold on, y'all. We under a minute. We're gonna cut off at some point. I love the conversation. I love the energy. I see you got a little drink over there. I don't know what that is, but
let me show y'all what I got. Let me show
what you got. We got less than a minute, y'all. It's gonna cut, but we got time. So
show y'all what I had.
Okay. Oh, Syrah. Oh, pomegranate.
Oh, okay.
Man,
okay. Is it good?
what's good? I had to find a mixture, but the strawberry lemonade and the pomegranate, it mixed with where that cranberry ain't. You can't mix it with cranberry, but it's pretty good.
Okay, well, shit, you know.